Welcome back everyone to today's video. We are going to be looking at another update for the winter. We will be doing like normal videos as well for obviously the next couple of weeks as well soon. But I have just got some very interesting charts once again to show you today. So we are going to show you some more about the winter. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit off today. I've got a pretty bad cold, but anyway, we are going to get straight into this. We're going to see um, what the chances of the winter being mild or cold are. So I'm not going to waste any time. We've got quite a bit of stuff to go through today and some very interesting stuff. So let's get straight into this. Right then, these are the latest sea pressure anomalies from the ECMWF, and these are weekly. So this is week one from the 20th to the 27th of October. That's a bit weird writing, and this is the situation we are forecasted. So, for the 20th to the 27th of October, ECMWF is predicting high pressure around Greenland and Iceland. Low pressure dropped in over Europe, and we are. Wait, is this definitely week one? Yeah, it is. We're probably keeping winds in from the west, even though we are parts of Scotland might have a bit of a northerly there. For most central and southern parts of the country, we're probably still pretty westerly, even though we are getting some high pressure building around Greenland, which is very interesting. It does get much more interesting for week two, though. Week two is the 27th of October to the 3rd of November. And this is what we are looking like. We've got high pressure sitting over Greenland, Iceland. High pressure at the Azores highs dropped really far south around Spain. Low pressure dropped in over Europe. We're in some cold northerly winds there. A different pattern, a pattern change, and we're looking very cold there for the time of year. Obviously not freezing. Probably might be a bit of snow over the Scottish Highlands, but obviously these are just charts. They might not come off anyway. Week three is the 3rd to the 10th of November, and we're looking like this. High pressure slipping to more towards the Canadian side of Greenland. Low pressure still over Europe. Scotland's probably still cold. For the south, it's probably going to be a westerly and northerly split. But it may still be cold at times. But that is once again pretty interesting with this blocking around Greenland and Iceland. Week four is the 10th to the 17th of November. We seem to have high pressure over Eastern Europe, out in the Atlantic, probably a bit high pressure here, maybe. Maybe some low pressure dropped in here, so it's either unsettled and westerly, or we're still in them northerlies and pretty cool. Not much to go off on that one. Finally, week 5 of the 17th to the 24th of November. No signal, really. High pressure sort of here. Honestly, I don't know what to do, but it's probably with this weird situation, probably doing something like that. That won't come off though because it is that far out. But now this is where it gets very interesting. There's no CFS or GFS today. There's not much really to see on them at the moment. But these are the NOAA Coral Reef daily anomalies. This was updated yesterday, I think. Yep, 14th of October. And there's a few things we are looking for on here. First of all, for a colder winter, for the UK to have a colder winter, we want colder, which is obviously the blue. We want colder conditions around here, here. Let me do it in blue for you so it makes a bit more sense. So we want colder conditions around. I'll actually just draw it on so you can see. We want colder conditions around here, like that. And then we want warmer conditions, if I can do that. We want warmer around here, sort of here and there. So this is why it's called a tripole, because there's like sort of 3 areas of warmth we're looking for. And at the minute we are a bit cooler here, but we are too warm here for a tripole. So right now there is not a tripole in play, but one might be developing, and we're going to have a look at that in a minute. And make sure to stay to the end of the video. We got a lot of interesting stuff today. It's all quite in depth, sort of long range stuff for the winter. Anyway, something else we are looking for is if this area here is warmer or cooler. It's cooler at the minute, which represents a La Nina. It's not really cold, so it is a weak sort of La Nina signal. This area here in the Indian Ocean is cooler at the minute, which represents a cooler IOD, which could give us more blocking over Greenland and stuff, but that is warming up at the minute, so I'm not going to really take that much notice of that at the minute. We look for a colder area around here. Some people say it means we're going to get a colder winter as well. For sort of a cold area like that sort of area. And obviously we want the tripole here where there's cold here, and then we've got warm in these sort of areas. Alright, so that is the current situation overall. These are the trend for the last 7 days though, so this is what's currently developing. And it's a lot more interesting if you do look at this chart than the last one. So we got, where is it? There we go, right, so they're all, yeah, right, okay, so as you can tell at the minute, we're still having there's areas warming up in the Pacific, but most areas are still cooling, which still shows the La Nina that we are getting. We got a very big area of cooling in this area. It's a bit unusual, but it's very deep cooling. We've also got a bit of cooling here on the Pacific as well, which is, we want to see that a bit as well for signs of a colder winter. The Indian Ocean, where we want it to be cool, is warming up quite a lot at the moment, but obviously it can cool and warm, so nothing out of the ordinary. But this is where it gets interesting, and I just want to get another chart up, 1 second. Alright, so as I was saying, this is the tripole area we are looking for. So as you can see at the current positions, it isn't cool enough through here. We need cool all around this sort of area here. And as you can see, mass cooling at the moment in that sort of area. But that's not it. We don't just need cooling in that area. We need warming around here, here, and here. And as you can tell by the 7-day trend, we've got warming here. We've got some warming through here as well, and a bit there. Well, it looks a lot like a tripole, which for our winters gives a big sign, a big colder signal. But, and here's the big but, we have got the tripole signal on the 7-day chart. But as you can see, if the full chart was like that, it'd be great. But at the minute, we're just not there. There's still too warm around here. If this trend continues for the next month, and then we do see it, starting to show up on the overall chart, and we do get the cooler area all through here and warm around here, then it will get very interesting, and that is a very good signal if you're looking for colder winters. Anyway, up next, something else very interesting. We've got the QBO. You might not know what that is, but that's the zonal winds, and these are recorded above Singapore. Let's get that. There we go. Right. So these, like, if you're in a westerly phase, which is the yellow colours, that usually means you're going to be getting westerly winds. And for the winter of 2025-26, we're in an easterly phase, which can be a good sign. It can be some winters with easterly phases end up just being mild, but it is a good sign that we've got an easterly QBO this winter, as it does increase the sign of easterly winds throughout the winter, which will be very cold. Right then, we've got 2 more things to show you, then we're done. Here is the Arctic oscillation. So when this is in a positive phase, it indicates low pressure and unsettled weather over the Arctic. So let me move that. Just like this sort of area where we have been and we've been unsettled, we are now in a slightly negative phase and look like we're going to be around that for the next, foreseeable future, really, until the end of the month, which indicates a bit more blocking around the Arctic, but it's only weakly negative, so don't take anything too seriously. But the NAO is very negative. It's around, well, it's not very negative, but it's pretty negative. This is just about negative. This is, it's -1 under and it's firmly below. This is what you call that weak negative just here, like only just about below. But right now we are just dropping into a negative phase, and we're going to be like that till the end of the month, which indicates more blocking around Greenland and Iceland. But for the whole winter, I do believe we're being forecasted a positive NAO. But to start, well, the colder season off at end of autumn, we are, or mid-autumn, whatever you want to call it, November, we are starting off in a negative phase, which increases the risk of cold for us. Anyway, we're done. I haven't got anything else to show you, but very interesting developments today. Increasing signs that we might end up having a tripole, even though there hasn't been much sign of one this year. We are increasing the chances now. So very interesting once again. Let's get the swingo up. And once again, like the second video, I am going to be sticking with the 58% cold, 42% mild, because I can't do any more than that at the minute. Because to be honest, until mid-November, late November, it's always a bit of a 50-50. But with the current signals, this is what I am forecasting. Ignore I don't know why that's down there. Should be like here, but just ignore that. Anyway, I am sticking with the cold outlook at the minute, but only by a slight margin. So it's basically 50-50, but I am forecasting a colder winter at the moment. But there's plenty of time for that change, so make sure you keep tuned, stay tuned with all of the upcoming videos and maybe some live streams as we get into the winter, especially if we do have any snow events or anything like that. Alright, thanks. We are done. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.